But what I want to show you guys is a short timeline of how this came to be, right? How they went from when they first met to now. She put together a short little video, and I think it really highlights not just what the journey looks like on the women's side, but the points at which she starts talking about her wanting to be exclusive with him is very eye-catching. So let's take a look at that video. Here we go.
And actually, the friend that I met her through was also there, and he was with this group of guys. Started talking to one of them. We talked at the bar until the lights came on. Ended up having my number one ranked type of makeout, a street makeout.
Okay, so what happened on their first meeting? They met at a bar, they're talking, having a good time, they're talking until the lights go out, and then what happens? On that first meetup, a kiss happens. I have found, honestly, the best relationships and the easiest ones that I've gotten into were ones where I kissed on the first date. Now, that doesn't mean that that's always going to happen, but I just want to assure you guys that when a woman's really into the vibe and flow and feeling it, most of them are going to be open to you kissing them on that first time meeting, even if it's not a formal date. Whether you're meeting them at a party, meeting them at a bar, meeting them with a group of other friends that you guys both mutually know, this, in fact, can happen.
Street work.
Street work.
I haven't been on a date with somebody that I met in real life, and I'm gonna have to come back and think about that.
He planned the whole date. It was great. It was definitely a marathon date.
He planned the whole date. This is also key. So we're also looking at what this guy did right. At the end of that first meeting, he ended up kissing her. And then for that first official date, he actually planned all the stuff, which I hear so many women complain about, that guys just don't plan dates anymore. Guys, they want you to plan the date. As you can see, it gives a better impression about you than you trying to say, well, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You just plan the thing and let her show up in her feminine energy where she's just going to follow along with whatever your plans are.
He was like, are you a hand holder? Because I'm a hand holder. I was like, I'm definitely a hand holder. And he grabbed my hand.
Wasn't afraid to hold hands. Just saying.
Absolutely gorgeous out.
Third date. I am feeling so hopeful about this. Just like fit long term, it's too soon to tell. We've been on 2 dates. It just feels like this part's gonna work. I'm pretty sure we're gonna date, but we're gonna date. Like, he's gonna be my boyfriend.
Okay, so this is key, right? So at home, alone, with nobody else around except for her camera and the world watching, she says, I can already tell that we're probably gonna date. Most likely, he's going to be my boyfriend. Now, there are women that come out the gate and have strong feelings just like this, right? So then as a guy, you're asking, well, if she's already saying by the second or third date that she could see me as the boyfriend, why isn't she asking to be my girlfriend yet? And the answer is this: just because a woman is saying a thing and thinking a thing, it doesn't mean that feelings-wise, she's completely worked that out. So happy thoughts are, oh yeah, he's probably gonna be my boyfriend, but then feeling-wise is like, I just need a few more dates to really make sure that the thing I'm thinking right now is actually going to match up, because these first 2 dates, I feel as though he's done a really good job, and I feel like I'm connecting with the person he's portraying himself as. But realistically, until we get to like 2 or 3 months, we're not going to know for sure if this is going to be consistent. So while I do have happy thoughts and I have the hope that this could be the boyfriend, right now, I'm still needing to feel this out. And so you got to separate a woman's thoughts from her feelings. Her thought life is, I can already see him as the boyfriend. The feelings life is, but we need to make sure he's consistent and we can totally build up trust in him to where my feelings are solidified. Until that happens, guy, you cannot bring up being exclusive. You cannot bring up your feelings, because it won't matter to her if she's still trying to work through what that feels like for her.
Makes me feel really good.
Excited to see him.
I had my third date with Skyline yesterday, and tomorrow he leaves for 5 weeks, which is longer than I've known him for.
Did ask if he wanted to do FaceTimes and phone calls. I just have a really good feeling about this. Like that this is heading somewhere really good. I like him. I think he likes me too.
So that's after their 4th or I think 5th date. But now, so she's already feeling the good feels. Again, in personal life, she's not telling this stuff to this guy, but in her day-to-day by herself, she's like, I'm really feeling things. I'm totally feeling stuff. So understand, women that you're dating, you're out there thinking, I need her to verbally say to me that she's having a good time. I need her to know, I need her to tell me where she's at so I have a good barometer. And the reality is, women don't want to tell you that, because in order to not burst their hope bubble, they don't want to be preemptively putting out their feelings about you that they're not completely sure about yet. But with their friends, with their family, with TikTok, she'll go home and be like, but yeah, I'm really feeling that guy. I really have a great hope for him. He's doing everything right. I just don't want him to mess this up, right? So this is the thing, guy. This is why, again, you asking for verbal confirmation is not going to get you the results you think. But don't think that just because she's not verbally saying, you're doing a good job, boy, way to take me out, that she's not at home actually feeling those things, okay? You have to have trust in the process that as long as she's showing up on dates and saying yes and hooking up with you, that things are generally going pretty good, okay? And again, you might, after a month, already be feeling that you're ready to take this to the next level. She's going to need more time. But don't think just because she needs more time means that you're out of the running. It simply means she needs more time to gauge that you are consistent with who you say you are.
Had our first FaceTime yesterday. I feel like he's being really intentional about this. Yesterday, he told me that he has surprise plans for me. I will come back and keep filming to see if I'm correct, but I think it's going to be flowers. It's a few days later. Today is actually my dad's birthday, and these arrived. I've never had a guy be so fucking thoughtful to remember something like this and send me something like this. I didn't give him my address. I'm just the happiest girl right now. He comes back.
So her dad died. So the fact that he remembered that conversation and sent flowers, it's one of those things that like, it's a big gesture, but not so big that it's like going to derail her thoughts and feelings about him. But it just shows that he's listening. And so now she's like, oh, he listens to me. He didn't have to do that. And he totally did. Like, that's so great and amazing. Now, also, what's coming up next is she's talking about their fourth date. So he had to go out of town for 5 weeks. And so during that 5 weeks, you know, a lot of guys get scared, like, oh my God, it's going to be ruined, this and that. And I try to tell you guys, when women have high interest, you could go away for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, a month, a year. And when you get back, that woman will still have interest. How do I know this? Well, my dad was in the Army. And after he dated my mom for 5 months, he had to go away for like a year to some other country because there was like some kind of war happening. And so, yeah, he was gone for a year. Back then, guess what, guys? Long distance phone calls wasn't really a thing. And if it was, it cost a lot. Texting was definitely not a thing. FaceTime was not a thing at all. And so they could not talk to each other for a whole, like, I think it was like 18 months. And then he got back and they got married 6 weeks later. And they were happy until he died in 91. So suffice to say, just from that example, I knew that I didn't need to be in a woman's face every single day for her to still have feelings. I could go away for like 4 or 5 months and come back and still have a woman like me. And I've done that where I've gone months and or years not seeing a woman. And then when I reach out to them, things are back on and popping, all right? So it's important because, again, they were without seeing each other for 5 weeks. They had FaceTimes and stuff like that, but like they weren't dating, right? And so in spite of that, she still had feelings for him. He still had feelings for her.
Back to New York today, and it's time for our fourth date. I'm going to talk to him about how I'm not seeing other people, and I don't want to see other people, and I think he's going to be on the same page. I think he's going to become my boyfriend this week.
Okay, I'm going to play that back for you. I need you to hear that one more again.
I'm going to talk to him about how I'm not seeing other people, and I don't want to see other people, and I think he's going to be on the same page. I think he's going to become my boyfriend this week.
So let's ask the question, who was going to bring up the subject with whom? Was he the one that was going to bring it up to her, or was she going to be the one bringing it up to him? And more importantly, did she have to be coerced into having that conversation? The answer is no. They've dated for a while. She's felt all the things. And now she's decided, based on her feelings journey and her being able to spend time with him, you know what? I think I need to talk to him about the fact that I am not seeing anybody else. And I hope he's not doing the same. And with that said, I think it's time for me to make him my boyfriend. She's the one going to reach out to him to make him the boyfriend, not the other way around, because at the end of her feelings journey, she's decided, you know what, based on how this is going and how I feel, and I'm solidified now, I want to make him the boyfriend, and now I got to be the one to do it. And too many guys are thinking, it's got to be them. I've been told that I got to chase and I got to be the one to bring up a relationship. And you're going to find more often than not that because you have feelings faster, you're going to do it at the wrong time. It's going to be too early. Woman's going to think, I haven't figured out my feelings all the way, but clearly he has. I'm not sure if I'll get there. And so therefore, it's not fair for me to keep dating him. And now I'm going to dump him. And that's how you lose out on women like this, who would in fact have come to you if only you had waited the 2 to 3 months that I talk about for her to get to the end of her feelings journey. And what does that look like?
I like really do. I haven't called someone my boyfriend in 4 years.
Very simply was like, I think this might go without saying, but I want to say it. I haven't been seeing anybody else and I really don't want to. He said, I totally agree. I haven't either. And I also don't want to. And then I was like, I'm kind of a labels gal. I'd like to call you my boyfriend. He was like, oh, that's good because I would like to call you my girlfriend.
Look at that. She brought up the I'm not seeing anybody conversation. She brought up the, well, I just say like, I believe in titles. And so I think I would like to call you my boyfriend. Like he did none of the work other than just show up, be a consistent guy, and be ready to answer when she said, will you be my boyfriend? And this is the thing. Women will fight me on this. Women will fight and say, no, a guy's got to come to me and ask me to be the boyfriend or be the girlfriend and all this stuff. And the reality is that you're going to find it's a lot easier to get into relationships if A, you wait until she's at the end of her feelings journey, and B, you allow her to come to you. Now, if you're a guy that's like not had a lot of dating success, you have not experienced this. I've had plenty of dating experience and success, so I have. Because here's what I've learned is that if a woman's been dating you and you've been consistent for 2 to 3 months, she starts thinking, this is going great. I don't want to let this guy go, but there's a risk that because we don't have titles, he could technically still see other people, and I don't want that. So now I got to make sure that that's not happening. So I got to go in and put a stop to that or make sure that it's not happening. So you'll find if you just are a bit more patient in your dating game and you wait long enough, they will come to you. Is this playing games? No, it's the logical conclusion of what will happen when you allow patience to help her get to the end of her feelings journeys, that she will signal to you that she's at the end of figuring out her feelings by letting you know she's ready for a relationship, at which point you just say, okay, and you walk right in, versus you try to be like, hey, it's been a month and a half, and you're trying to force a relationship to happen. Women don't like when things feel forced. So you have to let her naturally get to the end of her figuring out her feelings journey so that way she can come to you and ask this. You will find, you'll be surprised at how many women you've probably lost simply because you were pushing for the relationship too soon, which made you look needy, desperate, and most of all, impatient. And we need you to look like a confident yet patient guy. So you might have women come to you and be like, it's been 2 months and you haven't blah, 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 blah. That's still her saying, I'm at the end of my feelings journey and I figured out that I like you. What's going on? As long as the woman's coming to you, either she's complaining, why haven't you given me a title? Or she's saying, hey, so I'm not seeing anybody else. How about you? Then that means that you're good and that she's ready for that relationship.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was as easy as that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. She made it easy. He made it easy on her by not pestering her and constantly saying, so where you at? What's your feelings like right now? What's going on? Is everything okay? Like, am I doing things right in the dating? All he did was just show up, be his natural self, show her some good times, and then allowed her to go home and think about that. And then they spent 5 weeks apart where she had 5 weeks to think about previous dates. She was having regular conversations with them, FaceTiming, texting, and stuff like that. But it's like she wasn't getting the in person, which means she now got to feel what it would be like to be without him. And too many of you guys are trying to be there every single day thinking that's the best way for you to get in a relationship. I can assure you it is not. All right? Getting celebrated.
It's the day after Skyline and I define the relationship.
She says it's the day after her boyfriend and I define the relationship. But what happened is she defined the relationship. She brought up the topic of, hey, we should be boyfriend and girlfriend. I want titles. I'm not seeing anybody. She brought it up. But she needs to formulate that as we did that because we makes it feel inclusive and relationshipy. Okay? You got to let women get away with the language they need to say in order to feel things.
Boyfriend. And it's weird and it's exciting and I'm excited. Keeping his face to myself for now, though. I do think eventually I'll share. I'm excited to share the next part of this journey with y'all.
You can see that the better pathway is for you to let the woman be the one to bring it up. So this means, guys, yes, she should be the first one to bring up the what are we conversation. She should be the first one in the relationship to say, I love you. If you keep it at that, you will find you will get a lot further with most women because they will not be thinking that you jumped the gun and are making them feel things when they weren't quite sure they wanted to feel those things. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit HarryWilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to HarryWilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.